am pumped.
Me
What's
too.
up, everybody?
What's up?
So we announced a couple weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, that Mike Delaney was joining. That was going to be last week's episode, but apparently there was a snafu where only Brad got recorded,
No, it's a
and
setup.
that's what landed in everyone's feeds last week
Yeah, it's a setup.
or the week before. So Mike Delaney joining the podcast is going well so far.
Yeah, we've done it really well. He edited that episode, made me sound like an idiot. It was wonderful. I appreciate it. Now
The bong rips, I think, were my favorite.
Yeah, everybody thinks that I do
That was
drugs.
amazing.
And I'm insane, and I talk about microphones a lot.
You live in Florida. Everyone assumed you did drugs anyway.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, Mike will hopefully be joining next week. Hopefully, I will as well, as my schedule starting to open up a little bit. So that's a good thing. I'm gonna try to reserve my Sunday mornings for Screamcast time. So that'd be great.
All right.
If that can happen. So we're gonna do another, I guess, kind of what's on your doorstep, and then I think next week we will, or next week or next show, we'll be a little more organized. Finally, we'll get our asses in gear and
No, this is what it's
everything.
gonna be like. This is what's on
Right?
your doorstep every episode.
Every episode.
Yeah.
No, we gotta have some sort of.
You're not gonna be here.
Structure.
Shut up.
So I only have a few things to talk about, but what's going on? Mike, when he was going to be joining, he said you all were going to be talking about we're going to be talking about what you talked about last time that got cut out. So I don't know if that's the plan, what you think.
Fuck Mike, he's not
but,
even here. We're gonna do what we want. We're gonna talk about new things. No one wants to hear us talk about fucking Hellboy. We're done. Hellboy's.
So-
Hey, I had some really good insights, man.
We'll talk about it because that's on my list of things to talk about. Because I watched it. And
Ha! Brad.
There's no going away with
Hear
that.
about Hellboy again.
Whatever.
Like I said, I really don't have much because I've been so busy.
All right.
I don't have much, but
I'll start.
let's
That's
do
fine.
this. Let's start the show, everybody. Are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I brought us into the show. We are recording.
So, I rewatched because it's been a little while. I watched Who Can Kill a Child. This movie I saw when I was, I don't know, maybe about 10 years ago. It was like one of my very first Netflix DVDs because I always heard about it. I know it was, released on, DVD. Netflix had it. I was like, oh my God, I gotta fucking pick this up because I always heard about this. And I thought it was good. And it kind of stuck with me. I remembered it. But not too long ago, Mondo Macabro released it on Blu-ray. So yesterday I put it on, and man, I forgot the impact of the opening of the film because it goes through it shows footage of the Holocaust and all these different wars where these children were missing limbs, dying of hunger, and it really sets up. And I forgot the setup of the film. And I was actually, Janice was in here and she was starting to cry because it was all this awful footage of all these children. And, she was like, oh my God, this movie is using footage for, entertainment purposes. And I was like, kind of, but not really. Like the premise of the film is that the children attack the adults. I wish that it was more or less just organized with the children. Because I guess there's some type of thing that they're doing to one another to kind of be in cahoots to kill the adults because they don't really talk to one another when they're so-called changing or, I don't know, getting the other children to be a part of what they're being a part of. But I think it's a cool idea that in the 70s, in Spain, they made this film where it's children. Every time there's a war, the people that hurt most are the children because they're losing parents. There's these third world countries are going to war. So really, I mean, it is truthful that the children are hurt the most. So what are children going to do? They're going to just kill all the adults, so there is no more war. Which is funny because they're at war with adults. But anyways, that is the way they get rid of it. And that's what the movie is. They just go around and there's a island that this couple wants to vacation on. And they go there and there's nobody there, but they see some children here and there. And then eventually they realize that the children have killed all the adults, and they have to get away from the island. But the whole thing is like, why didn't anybody do anything? It's because they're all kids. Like, obviously the title says it right there. And I still think the movie holds up pretty well. It gets kind of violent towards the end. This may sound familiar for some people because they remade it a few years ago, called Come Out and Play, which I do like, but it kind of misses the point of why the children are killing people. It just is children killing adults. There's not that footage or backstory to, because even in the movie, they're watching television at one point and there's a war going on and children are being hurt and the wife is really upset because the kids are dying. And even the cashier at the camera store says something to the effect of, war hurts children. But the remake kind of totally overlooked all of that. And it's fine because they just made a killer kid movie. And I definitely enjoyed that. But it's not politically charged, I think, like the original. And this is also the 70s, and, you're allowed to do a lot of things that, you could get away with a lot of things. But yeah, I think the movie still holds up. It's not overly violent with the kids. It's just kind of that opening footage of stock footage of wars is kind of rough. And then it gets a little violent towards the end, but still holds up. I think it's a great movie. I think it kind of loses its steam a little bit when they kind of go to a part, like I said, with the kids not going up. I wish they went up and whispered to the other kids. Instead, they just kind of look them in the eye, and there's this long silence, and then the kids are like, oh, okay. They turn around.
Telepathy.
Then they're these murderous children. And I kind of wish it was more or less they went up to them, whispered in their ear. So it's like in our heads, they could be saying, hey, adults are causing all these wars. Let's just fucking kill them. And it's like, oh, okay, let's fucking do that. Cool. But it doesn't do that. And that's the part where I think it kind of loses its legs, being it's set up like this. It's kind of this cool idea. And then being its telepathy or something supernatural, I think it kind of loses its steam a little bit with that. But it still holds up. Still good.
Yeah, I have the same release and I liked it too. I wasn't expecting that opening, and I was wondering, is this an actual Mondo movie? Because it's using actual historical footage in that way. But no, I loved it, and I didn't quite have the same problem with it being unspoken as you did, because it does have a bit of the telepathy, but I also think there's kind of a feeling of evolution there, almost that, there's like a perversion of the natural order where children are being attacked and murdered instead of taken care of. So we're turning innocence into something on a cellular level that's like, okay, destruction's the language you speak, then that's what we're going to learn.
Yeah, I really think it is a hard-hitting movie for that time, for sure, even in the 70s. But I think that's also why people were a little upset with the remake, is because it doesn't have those legs like the original does. And plus, like, the director was hidden. It didn't want to be known. He went by the name Makhanoff. He wore a mask. And he still hasn't revealed his identity. I think I found out who it was at one time, but then I realized it was kind of like a nobody. He directed a couple films in Spain, and then that's it. But even, Vanessa Shaw, who's in the remake, she said that the director wore a mask the entire time on set, and they really didn't even know who it was.
Can could see that affecting performances, maybe.
Yeah, and also,
I don't know.
like,
I'm not a director. I don't know.
but at the time, I was like, it's fucking a remake to Who Can Kill a Child. It doesn't even have a major release. What kind of marketing ploy is this? Like, did they really think it was like, is a member of Slipknot directing Come Out and Play? No, it's just it's just some dude like that's taking a movie that was heavy hitting and kind of making it more violent. I think there is more violence in the movie with the kids killing the adults, of course, and then the adults fighting back. I still like it, but it's just a killer kid movie to me. I don't think it has a voice like the original. But anyways.
Yeah, I have a quick question about the remake because I haven't seen it. So the original, one of my favorite things about it is the unique setting. It's a very sunny outdoor kind of movie. Did the remake channel that?
Yeah, it does it perfectly.
Oh, okay.
It's literally a shot-for-shot remake.
Okay.
It's just there's a lot of more violence, like with the kids killing. There's like little snippets back and forth, and the ending's a little more explosive. But yeah, it's pretty much a shot-for-shot remake. I mean, even like her wanting a drink to going to the hotel for them searching. Yeah, it's literally like a Psycho type thing.
I don't understand shot-for-shot remakes.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like they did a shot-for-shot remake, but they lost the theme of the movie.
Wow,
they
sounds great.
They
I'm
really
glad
did,
they
put
put all that effort.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it just is a standalone killer kid movie. It works, but as a remake of Who Can Kill a Child, it doesn't. So I think that's unique that they're able to make another movie. But literally, if you've seen the movie, because I believe Janice was even sitting there and she was like, "I've seen this," and I was like, "No, I don't think you've seen this, but I think you've seen this." And she's like, "Oh, yeah." Because it's identical. Even him going to get the hat and all like the food and the sardines and bullshit. Yeah. So, what you got, Steph?
Oh, okay. Well, I finally saw Scanners 2 and 3.
Ooh.
Oh.
Which I know is just starting down the path of all the Scanners sequels. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm a huge David Cronenberg fan, but Scanners is one of the ones I'm kind of lukewarm about. Of course, it has those slam bang visuals and it has some great moments, but overall it just falls flat for me. But they had like a really good deal on the Blu-ray, so I finally grabbed it. They did it about, I think, exactly a decade after the first Scanners came out. And the first one, there's a kind of a meek scanner who gets found out, and a detective starts using him to be like, "Oh, these are bad guys. We can use your scanners to like find this guy who's poisoning children's milk." And he's like, "Oh my God, I can finally use this for good. That's great." And on the other hand, there's kind of a cartoonishly villain scanner who's like blowing up arcades, and he gets scooped up by the bad guys. So they have their parallel storylines until they finally meet. And I thought it was a blast. It didn't go really deep into like what it means to have this power, but it was really fun. And it almost felt like a video game the way the bad guys were, because they'd kill one bad guy and then they'd go up one level and then one level and then one level. So I thought they did a great job. But it was interesting to me, Scanners 3 came out the exact same year. It's the exact same director. And at first, like, you kind of feel the tiny budget in the opening scene, and I was a little worried about it. But it takes a turn by having like a sexy woman scanner who's way more in control and diabolical than any of the past scanners. So that's really cool. And it's one of those films that just gets progressively more bonkers as it goes. And So I think I'm like, what's next? Is it Scanner Cop?
Yeah, Scanner Cop and Scanner Cop 2.
Okay, would you recommend those?
Scanner
Wait, are
Cop.
those related?
Yeah, they're sequels.
Oh shit!
Yeah, they're just spin-off sequels. But
Wow.
yeah, I think Steve Barnett directed those, or maybe just one of them. But anyways, yeah, no, I agree. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Scanners to begin with. Like, I like the first one. I don't really care for the next two because, like you said, they're a little too comical. Like, especially when they're doing the scanning. Like,
Oh yeah, I will say it does deliver on the head explosions. The
yeah,
second one I don't think is very comical. It's more action movie. The
yeah,
third one is they're like, yeah, we're gonna get goofy and crazy. And there's one moment where she explodes his finger with her mind, and that doesn't make any sense because you can explode their heads because you're controlling their brains, but there's not tiny little brains in their fingers. It's not like she caused them to like. We don't have the power. It doesn't make sense, but it looked really cool. But I was worried that the head explosions wouldn't look as good because of the smaller budgets, but I think that's where all the money went. So it does deliver there. We need more gifts from Scanners 2 and 3 of exploding heads.
Yeah,
because they did a good
You'll
job.
definitely like Scanner Cop.
Okay, cool.
Scanner Cop 2 is probably like, if I had to rate them, it would be Scanners, Cop, Scanner Cop, Scanners 2, Scanner Cop 2, then Scanners 3.
That all just bled into one title for me, but okay,
Yeah.
I'll check them.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the director went on to like do like Live Wire with like Pierce Bronson, I think, and then made Screamers with Peter Weller, which I really liked. But what's his name? Doug Ray?
Yeah, Christian I don't know,
Dougray?
French Canadian names I always have.
Yeah, it's definitely not Doug Ray then. Dougray. Somebody like Christian Dougray. Yeah.
Dougray. There's no R. Dougray.
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh God, he's gonna be so upset when he hears this podcast.
He's never gonna be a guest on the show now.
Damn it.
Ruin that.
I want to hear about the Coco Chanel movie he made.
Oh. All right, Sean, what you got?
Well, let's just rip this off like a Band-Aid. Let's talk the new Hellboy movie really quick.
Yeah.
So, of course, starring David Harbour, directed by, maybe directed by Neil Marshall. Because I hear there's a lot of production problems with the movie. I hear he kind of got, in a way, kind of forced off his own movie. Kind of the producers, I guess, took a heavy hand to it. And even as he was directing, there was a lot of kind of butting heads. So we get this thing. We get a reboot of Hellboy after like two very successful Hellboy movies directed by Guillermo del Toro. And I probably pronounced that wrong. Guillermo del Toro.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of guy would say quesadilla forever.
Oh boy.
But you know.
Vegeta?
So anyway, so we got this, and I'm like so torn about it because I feel like, and I think B. Germain mentioned this when it first came out. He said it was like, you know, if this came out with a Canon Films logo before the movie, we'd all kind of shrug and go, "Oh, okay." We'd all like enjoy it for what it is, and just kind of go about our days and whatever. But this following too, like, very well done Hellboy films. It's just baffling to me. I had a good enough time with it. I like that they tried to make it R-rated. I hated the CGI gore. Hated it so much. And David Harbour is like trying really hard, but it's weird because I'm like, well, I liked it, but I kind of didn't like it. But I'm kind of curious as to why it exists. But then I also did kind of like it. Some scenes were really cool. I don't know. But I bring it up because I just want to hear your guys's. Brad, you and I have talked about it off podcast.
Yeah,
but
I will. I know we talked
I'll
about
open the floor a little bit.
Yeah, I can't remember. I didn't listen to the last episode, what all Mike put together. But
I mean, I got cut out of it completely, but you go ahead and talk, Brad. That's cool.
well, I'll say this. Not too many films make me angry that I lost my time. Like, even if I dislike a film, I don't feel that the film took my time. I feel Hellboy took my time. I'm still angry about it. It is the worst film I've seen this year. I think everything about it is a complete piece of shit. And I really can't believe that exists because the editing alone is fucking horrendous. Like, I understand it's not, I don't hold it against Neil Marshall because like you said, I know that there was a lot of problems on set. He was kicked off the movie while it was being edited. I think the writer had too much of his hands in the movie. He maybe should not try to make a movie. He should just keep creating Hellboy stories.
Stick to the yeah.
But yeah, it's literally one of the worst things I've ever seen. Like, it doesn't even work. It feels like you gave a bunch of kids to make a fan made movie, and that's what it is.
Yeah,
Stephanie, what are your thoughts?
I'm not quite as angry about it as Brad is, but I'm also not very far away from that, and I understand that. Yeah, and so I'm a huge fan of the Del Toro movies, and I think Ron Perlman is the perfect Hellboy.
Oh yeah.
But I still wanted to go in open-minded, especially since I really like David Harbour, and I thought, well, if anyone else is gonna play him, he has like that kind of big stony face. It's probably really good. But we mentioned it in the Lost episode, but Ron Perlman had a lot of experience acting in heavy makeup and prosthetics, and that is a completely different acting style. And I don't think Harbour got the time to do that.
Right.
Even if you have rehearsals, it's just you could tell he's trying. He certainly wasn't half-assing it, but it's sloppy. You can see the seams in the movie. You can tell it was rushed. Like Brad mentioned, the editing. Like, there's a scene where Hellboy is fighting giants, which is such a cool idea. I love it, but it's edited like a fan YouTube music video, like maybe like a first year college student, like, whoa, look what I learned making graphics this year. And if you're like, whoa, you're 19, that's amazing. But when you're seeing on like a multi-million-dollar movie, you're like, no, honey. Like you don't feel any danger. You don't feel any weight anywhere in the movie. The only thing I liked was Mila Jovovich was just eating up the scenery. She was a blast to watch. That's pretty much what I went away with it. Like, if they decided to make like a weird ass straight to video spinoff with her, I'd be like, okay, I'm actually into that. I would watch that. It's just
DOA. I don't
so
think they're
disappointing.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I like certain aspects. I was like, man, that would be like certain framing, certain scenes. Like, wow, that looks really cool. And then you have, like you said, like that giant scene where it's just like, it's modern superhero CGI Marvel bullshit. Like, it's just like,
weird spinning camera things that are like, oh, this is a trend in filmmaking right now. We'll do it. Yeah.
But it's weird. It's like, for me, it's like going to like kind of a shitty buffet. Like, there's a few things I'll find in the buffet, and I'll load up my plate and I'll have a decent time. I'll make it work. But so much of the movie is like just cold egg rolls to me. Not like a lo mein where you could, like a chicken lo mein you can have on a buffet. Like, it could be kind of cold. It's chicken lo mein. It's still pretty good. But a cold egg roll, fuck that shit. That's how I feel.
I can't believe someone made a buffet analogy. It's not the person from Las Vegas.
Hey, Las Vegas buffets are awesome. We always hit those.
Oh.
And what you do is you hit it like right between the changeover from like breakfast to lunch or something. Like, so you you get a little bit of breakfast and then you hang out for a bit and then they change over to lunch and then you get lunch. You just pig out and you get your money's worth. That's the trick.
Yeah. Well, you're talking casino ones. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. What I hear is if you live in Las Vegas, you don't necessarily go to the Strip. You kind of avoid the Strip. Is that a thing?
Oh yeah, for sure. No, it's just for like special events. They built nice ass casinos called station casinos for locals, and most of them have buffets. So that's where you get the deals, tourists.
Deals, get it.
They're usually a 10-minute drive to the Strip, and it's way cheaper. And they have movie theaters in them. There you go.
Really? There you
Hellboy, go to casinos.
So there we go. Hellboy's done. We're done talking about it.
Cool. I gave another movie a shot. I was rewatching stuff that I haven't seen in a long time. Was watching some stuff with Willow. I actually let Willow watch Who Can Kill the Child. It was fun. But I also watched, this is one of my great-grandfather's favorite movies, and that's the last time that I watched it was with him. So it was a little kind of special, sentimental thing inside. I've been waiting to kind of revisit it, but it was The Kingdom of the Spiders with William Shatner. I haven't seen it since I was probably a little kid, but I watched it kind of numerous times with my great-grandfather. Well, I think he claimed to be his favorite movie, but it still holds up. It really works as kind of as far as a nice setup and a fun execution. The only thing, I'm a huge Spider fan, and I don't know if people know this about me, but I will go out of my way to save a spider. I don't give a shit if they're poisonous. I will put my life at risk to save a spider. I always have, and I always will. Janice got
Who could kill a spider? Not Brad.
Yeah. So, like, she got mad at me one time because there was a brown recluse in our bathroom, and I did my best to save it. I put it in a jar, and I took it outside. And they're venomous. It sucks if you get bit by them. But yeah, I'm not in. There's a lot of parts of the film, back to Kingdom of the Spiders. There's a lot of parts of the film where obviously there's fake spiders attached to things. I know that even I remember reading, I think it was maybe in Fangoria, that they actually had the townspeople like have fun and kind of paint spiders on the walls of the building, so that way it would give the effect of a bigger spider takeover for the towns scenes. And even today they say that if you go to the town and look, there's like only like one coat of paint that is covering the spiders, so it still has like the sentimental thing in the town. But there's some spider killing in the movie, like real
spider.
Yeah, because there's obviously the spiders that are just little fuzzy things on the ground that aren't moving, but there's actual spiders that are moving that are getting stepped on and ran over. And that's when I was like, people get really upset when a dog dies, and that's never a real dog. But I even why does the dog have to die? That dog is still alive in real life. So imagine that with a spider, but it's actually dead.
Good, kill all the spiders, kill them all.
No, man, not these cute little fuzzy tarantulas.
I'm definitely afraid of. Sorry, I like tarantulas.
So,
I'm afraid of spiders, but
so are they killing tarantulas, or is it just?
Yeah, they're tarantulas.
Tarantulas.
Have you never seen Kingdom of the Spiders?
They're fuzzy.
Yeah, I could care less if a spider dies on film, no matter what kind of spider it is.
Wow, PETA's gonna protest the show now. It's really good. We'll get more.
But I mean, that's a personal thing. I'm sure 99.8% of the world does not care about Kingdom of the Spiders actually killing spiders. So don't let that affect you at all. It's just that I'm a kind of a spider fan, and the bigger the spider, the bigger the heart. That's what I say.
So let's talk about Spider-Man. Spider-Man: Homecoming 2.
That's not a real movie. It's just called Spider-Man, Far From Home.
Whatever.
But no, we're not going to talk about that. So
get too emotional.
Yeah, Kingdom of the Spiders still really works. Tiffany Bowling is wonderful. William Shatner is probably the worst part of the film.
Oh, stop! Stop.
Oh no,
It's the best part of the film.
He definitely is the worst part. Like there's this weird thing where like his name's Rack, right? And so Rack has this thing where people make jokes like, "Oh, you're gonna know Rack," and it's like he's like William Shatner is skeezy looking, he's greasy, he's tubby, like he is not the leading man. All right, William Shatner is by far the leading man. I heard that Bo Sevenson was up for this role, and he should have got it. But anyways, so like Tiffany Bowling comes into play, and she's absolutely stunning. And William Shatner's character is automatically attracted to her, obviously. But then there's this weird thing that Rack had a brother who died in Nam, who he's taking care of his brother's family. He has a little girl and he has a wife. Well, there's a part in the film where Shatner's character makes a reference of wanting to be with her. And she wants to be with him. And there's this really, it's very obvious, like what they're doing. And I'm like, wait, what? Like he wants, like, why is this happening? Why is he trying to be with his brother's sister? And when even she brings, when he brings Tiffany Bowling around, she meets her and then she goes in the kitchen and she cries because she wants to be with Rack. I don't know. It's just this weird subplot of the movie that they don't really go too far upon, but it's really bizarre. But the most interesting subplot is the cabin owner lady and the sheriff, because they don't really talk to one another aside from the end of the movie, but they had this really intimate relationship back in the day, and they make little comments about each other like when they're not around one another, and I thought that was pretty interesting. Kind of wanted to see a movie just with them. But yeah, King of the Spiders still works. I thought that ending was a little bit more epic in my mind as a kid, but then I realized it was just a painting that they used for the cobwebs all over the town, and I was like, oh man. I thought they like put cotton candy all over the town when I was little or something. It's just a fucking painting. But anyways, it's still John Carlos, the director, Bud Carlos, I guess people call him, did a fantastic job. The movie still holds up. It's a great animals attack movie. I think it would work perfectly with like a double feature with like The Birds or maybe even Arachnophobia. But yeah, great movie. So that's all I got. Out by Code Red on Blu-ray, and it looks decent.
Hey, something nice about Code Red. That's what I like about you, Brad. You'll talk about Kingdom of the Spiders and then talk about the relationships in it, like the romantic relationships in it.
Yeah. Well, I am all about characters in movies. Like, even if you have a dull movie, if you have exciting characters, interesting characters, it saves a movie for me. And
yeah,
in relationships. So therefore, if there's something fun or interesting, like I can go off of that rather than the plot of the movie. So, and I mean, there's really no plot of King of the Spiders. It's like eco horror where, you know, they're dropping the DDT and the spiders are migrating and it's killing off their small, you know, insects and things that they feed off of. And so they migrated and now they're attacking bigger things together in order to feed. Cool story, but that's it. That's literally the plot of the movie. So you have an hour and 40 minutes of them discovering it, dealing with it, and then attacking. So what do? You have interesting characters. That's the reason, I guess, why they did everything, and it works. It really does. I mean, still to this day, it's just there's an odd relationship with Shatner and his what do you call that? His
ex-sister-in-law?
Yeah, sister-in-law. Yeah. Well, is it his ex?
Wait, his brothers.
Do you call it your ex sister-in-law when like they didn't get divorced and it's just a death?
It would still be sister-in-law.
It would still be sister-in-law,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, he has this.
I mean,
Obviously,
I'm an only child. I don't know.
he wants this.
I'm unmarried.
He wants this relationship with his sister-in-law. Cool. Tiffany Bowling
That's
is
weird.
definitely like she's. Oh, and there's also this like really sassiness thing with Tiffany Bowling. Like, I don't know if people know who Tiffany Bowling is, but she is this exploitation actress that was like in Candy Snatchers and stuff like that. So like she's really sassy, like, and she's super smart, and like she doesn't take any shit. Aside from when Rack kind of wins her over, and then she just kind of is like, "Oh, William Shatner, you're so gorgeous," and it's like, no, William Shatner's fucking greasy and weird. Like, stop being
You ever notice,
attracted
like,
to him.
whenever like William Shatner like does like an on-screen kiss, it's like always so awkward. I just always feel
Like,
awful
he's
for the woman
not
involved.
like he's the least like. I don't know. He's one of those people that is not charismatic at all on screen. Like, he really is. And it's nothing against William Shatner, the person, but it's every character he plays. He's the most uncharismatic person in the world. Kind of like John Wayne. Like, John Wayne doesn't work on
Right.
any level. Like,
Right.
a romantic
Yeah.
level, a
It's
hero.
always William Shatner.
They're both like very much just, they should just always be like little co-stars. They shouldn't run a movie.
They're bland beefy boys.
That's the thing. They're both like they should just be the sheriff that is only seen in like 2 movies or like 2 scenes, and then you never see him again. But they're not leading men. They really aren't.
We're about to get a bunch of hate mail from John Wayne fans and William Shatner fans.
Honestly, man, I know that John Wayne is in a lot of movies, and I think at the time he was kind of
he's a product of his time.
Yeah, well, he was in. It's kind of like. No, I wouldn't say. I'm not going to say that. He was just kind of it at the time, and he was in these big American productions of, these westerns, and he was a name that got noticed early on, and they just kept using him. But they're all cut and dry westerns. They're actually not very good. And
he tried to play Genghis Khan once.
Yeah, I think at the time, honestly, I don't know if I've ever met anybody recently in the past few years that liked John Wayne.
Well, I can say something, actually. I recently saw Red River for the first time, which I think is one of the towering movies. And it's Howard Hawks, one of my favorite directors. And I've never been a big John Wayne fan. I never got it. But in that movie, I did get it. I didn't think he was amazing or like a tower of charisma, but I think what it is he's fairly young in that movie, but he was very commanding and very confident and very powerful. And there's just insane things going on in that movie surrounding him. And so he's like this little oasis of like traditional masculine. I know exactly what to do, even if everyone around me is dying. And it really works in that kind of contained setting. But as he aged, he didn't develop anything about that. So it turned into like, wow, this young guy, he had something dark inside himself where he could kind of control everyone around him. And it ages into like this kind of weird, grotesque thing where it's just like an angry old man who seems out of place most of the time.
Yeah, maybe that's why the elderly like John Wayne so much, because they're freaking.
Yeah, maybe.
My grandpa was a huge John Wayne fan. Huge.
Yeah,
I actually have a John Wayne like light switch cover. That was his.
Yeah, no, my grandfather was too, and don't get me wrong. I mean, like Steph said, like Howard Hawks, Red River. I mean, Howard Hawks, Rio Bravo, John Ford with The Searchers. I think with good directors, John Wayne can make it, because I mean, John Ford's a wonderful director, and
Yeah.
I mean that's why The Searchers works. So yes, I'm not saying like, but John Wayne has like 250 movies, and
But he's always kind of the
Well,
same
he needs to be
guy.
pushed.
And I'll
He's
only
one of
say
those
just a
actors that
few.
needs to be pushed.
Yeah, I was going to compare it to Roy Rogers, but Roy Rogers still also had that love afterwards. Like he was in those movies, he was, you know, but he was always kind of like a kid cowboy. And then when he got a little bit older, he started to die out. But Roy Rogers was always kind of still cool. He didn't become like this, you know, drunk, abusive piece of shit like John Wayne did. But anyways.
All right, moving on. This isn't the John Wayne cast, this is the Screamcast. Steph, what do you have for us?
Okay, I'll continue the killer bug theme. I finally saw The Swarm.
Ooh.
From 1978. So years ago, I had seen the Poseidon Adventure and the Towering Inferno, and I loved them. But I just recently rewatched them because I upgraded them to Blu-ray. And I found out the same guy who did those two movies also did The Swarm. So the idea of him taking that big budget disaster movie with the star-studded cast, but with killer bees, just sounded amazing. And it mostly was. So it's a pretty simple plot. Bees just start killing people. They start creating giant swarms and killing people. And they don't know what's going on. And they find out that it's not sugar bees, but it's Africanized bees. No, it's Brazilian bees. No, they're Africanized. That was a great fight. I really enjoyed that in the movie. So the military doesn't know what to do. So they bring in Michael Caine, who's an expert. And there's literally everyone in this movie. There's Olivia de Havilland, Richard Widmark as the main military guy, Catherine Ross from the Stepford Wives. So yeah, it's bloated. I think it's like 2.5 hours, like most of these Irwin Allen movies are. It doesn't need to be 2.5 hours, but the big set pieces, like the bees consume this kid's parents, and he starts seeing giant bees everywhere. And Michael Caine has to be like, no, the bee's not there. You got to reach out and the bee will disappear. Probably the worst Michael Caine impression anyone's ever done. So yeah, it follows that pattern of, it's like set pieces talking about what's going on. Like a flower festival gets attacked. They talk about what's going on. The whole town gets attacked. They talk about what's going on. So it's definitely a little bloated, but overall it's a lot of fun. And there's a great moment where Catherine Ross is swooning because they narrowly escape the bees, and she's looking in Michael Caine's eyes, and this bee appears in his pupil, and it just slowly comes out. It's like a 3D effect, and this bee comes out of Michael Caine's eye, and she just faints. So if that sounds like your kind of bag, I found that I'm a sucker for bee movies as I get older. I was never told that, like, you know, Stephanie, as you mature, you're gonna appreciate bees and their place in our ecosystem, and also exploitative bee movies. That's gonna be a big part of your life. I never knew that was coming, but yeah.
That movie's way too long. But yeah, I
no,
agree.
It's take out 40 minutes, it'd pretty much be perfect.
You should have Burt Gordon do it then.
Oh, big? Yeah.
Well, this movie's are always 80 minutes.
That's like, I could watch that any day of the week.
Yeah. Wild Eye released a movie called Tsunami that you might like.
Oh
yeah, I got to get on that.
Tsunami.
But
they used a lot of real bees in this movie. I was trying to figure out, like, you know, I know you can train bees, but good Lord, like, people would be covered head to toe, and I don't know. I really want to find out about all the effects to get like the giant swarms of it, because you could see there are like some plates sometimes going on, but it was really impressive. Like, they did put the work into making these bees look fucking real.
So
Weird.
you're saying you're watching like all these like 70s disaster movies?
Yeah,
Because you said
I'm on a kick.
you watched like the Towering Inferno, and the Poseidon Adventure. Like, what's your favorite?
My favorite? Ooh, that's a good question. Probably the Towering Inferno.
Yeah, it's definitely really good. Yeah, I like that.
You know, where they're that one I think does make the best use out of the giant running time, with that scene when they're suspended and they're trying to get everyone out in that basket chair one by one.
Yeah.
And everyone starts freaking out and grabbing onto it. Like, I'm white knuckle through that whole thing. It's really well done.
Did you you mentioned the Poseidon Adventure? Did you ever see, because Irwin Allen directed the Swarm, right? He directed I think it was Beyond the Poseidon Adventure. That's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I was wondering if I should bother with that one.
No.
Okay.
Like he has this like weird like made for TV G movies, like, and they're just really boring. Like his stuff, like back, like he would directed stuff in the 50s, I think, like Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Maybe not that one. No,
He did. That was 60s, but yeah.
and
Like the Animal World,
like the Lost World and stuff. Like he continued to make those movies, but into the 70s.
I think it mostly worked.
When in the 70s, I think there was a little bit more hard-hitting exploitive stuff that was going on, and then he just kind of still made these like Disney movies, like from the 50s.
Yeah, but they made bank, didn't they?
Sure, right.
It
was. Here's my question: would you rather be somebody that made a ton of money from a few movies and then forgotten about, or would you rather be somebody like John Carpenter?
Well, obviously John Carpenter, but I'll throw in a defense for him that Hollywood was going through huge sea changes then. Things were getting more gritty, more realistic, smaller, more about characters, which was awesome. But sometimes you just want like a big, silly, star-studded movie for the weekend to take your family to see during the summer. I think there's a place for that in Hollywood. It seems like there's only places for that right now. But yeah, like he definitely filled a weird void going on. And the 70s are so fun. Like I love the whiplash that was going on.
There's definitely so much. It's not like the 80s kind of had this one thing going for it. But the 70s, we had so much going on between how movies were made and also like the types and how brutal things were. Mm-hmm. But the 80s, it was like one track, it seemed. Because I mean, if you watch movie and it's easy to tell when it came out. Like the 70s, there was just like, you don't know what to expect. Like things are so shocking from the movies in the 70s, like even more shocking than today. I feel like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, 70s movies seem always a little more dangerous. Also very way more sweaty and hairy, but definitely dangerous.
We let people have pores back then.
Yeah, people always
like William Shatner. Fucking sweating like a pig in fucking Kingdom of the Spiders.
I'm going to move the conversation along. Is that okay?
Oh, what?
No.
Yes, boss. Okay, Dad.
I'm just trying to keep us on time.
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead. Like we have that.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Go.
Yeah.
Well, geez, now I feel awkward.
No, you're going to feel awkward when you mention some dumb fucking movie. I'm going to jump all over you.
Oh, here we go. So I finally cracked open my Scream Factory Blu-ray of Species 2.
Oh my God, Sean.
Starring Natasha Henstridge and Michael Madsen, directed by Peter Medak. I had a ton of fun with this movie. Of course, if you haven't seen Species 2, the first Species was Natasha Henstridge. Am I pronouncing her name right? Natasha Henstridge.
Yeah, Jesus.
She's, it's basically kind of Terminator mixed with Alien, and she's going around basically trying to impregnate men to bring forth her offspring or whatever. And not impregnate men, but get pregnant by men. I don't know. So this one they kind of flip it on its head, where
to get pregnant. Oh my god! Did you
where
watch the
basically
movie?
What? Well, she's fucking a lot of men. That's all I know. That's all I remember from the first Species. Was she not trying to get pregnant?
She's trying to get pregnant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In a horrible way, but that's what I'm saying in a very roundabout way. So this one, it turns on his head where this alien possesses a astronaut. He comes to Earth, and of course, or a few astronauts, and whenever they basically have sex, they immediately blow up their wives or girlfriends' stomachs, and offspring comes forth. And they have Natasha Hendricks's character. Jesus Christ. Henstridge's character.
I have never had a problem pronouncing her last name, and
God,
now I
no
cannot even remember what her last name is. Like, you wiped her last name from my brain forever.
I apologize. And I talk for a living, which is awful. I'm not going to get any gigs through this podcast, that's for sure. So basically, they kind of turn it on its head. She's like stuck in a lab because they basically recreated her first character from the last movie in a lab, and her name is Eve, and she sits out most of the movie while pregnant bellies are exploding all over the place. But then the guy alien and her meet, and it gets batshit crazy in the end. Michael Madsen is great as always. He's probably on some sort of coke binge during the movie or whatever. But he's probably a shit guy in real life, I would assume. But I always like it when he shows up in a film.
Didn't he have a reality show with his sons for a while? He has had a career. Sure.
So anyway, I have a blast with this movie. What I liked about it is it was in 1995, and it was, of course, on the cusp of digital, special effects, and it's used sparingly here. There's a couple scenes where you're like, oh yeah, that's some really bad CGI, but for the most part, there's some really good kind of practical monster effects. Of course, H.R. Geiger was involved, I believe, with the designer, or they're using his designs. The practical effects are really great, and it's a good little B/C midnight Skinamaxy type flick. I don't have the next two Species movies because I'm gonna watch them. I do not have high hopes for them, but this one was at least a good little. I don't even know if it went to the theaters, but kind of direct to video feeling sequel that I had a lot of fun with.
How did it compare to the first one to you?
I like the first one better. Well, I don't know. This one had more kind of B movie exploitation elements in it, I think. Just because of the amounts of pregnant bellies exploding.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this one. I'm pretty sure I saw that in the theater.
Really, this one visually has a lot more, I think, going for it. But I think Species, of course, is a better movie. I mean, it wasn't even a really good movie.
I was going to say, it's fun.
It's fun. Yeah. I think this is just as much fun. Maybe a little lower on the quality range, but I had just as much fun.
Man, wait till you get to Species 4.
Oh my god, I don't think that's gonna be very good. But,
Species 3 has, if I remember correctly, has pretty good special effects with the monster. But Species 4 is fucking a trip.
Very nice.
I'm glad that's where you cut off the conversation to go to Species 2. But I'm also impressed because I was expecting something completely else. Something else.
What are you expecting?
I don't know, like Transformers 3 or something. So I'll go Hollywood theater for a second. I went to go see. I wanted to see this because I want to support horror in the theater, for sure. So I saw 47 Meters Down Uncaged.
Oh boy.
And I got to tell you, I hate the first movie. I really do. I did not like it at all. I thought it was boring, tedious. It wasn't scary. Not suspenseful. It's just really boring. And so was The Shallows.
Took me out of the first movie.
I know
the first movie
underwater thing. The microphones
they
talking
have
to each other.
Their ears are not covered by any mask, and somehow, like their ears are in the water, and somehow they can communicate with each other through a microphone.
Oh my God, they should do a Scanners movie underwater. Sorry, tangent.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So
all right, so this movie.
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty good. It's pretty suspenseful. It's got a lot going for it. It gives a sense of claustrophobia. It's basically The Descent with sharks in a way. Bunch of girls that are cave diving get attacked by these sharks that have been living in these caves for a long time. So these basically these blind sharks that are killing them off, and it isn't boring at all. It doesn't waste any time. Its setup is very quick and everything like that. But yeah, it's pretty good. I can recommend it.
Yeah, all I really need to hear about that kind of movie is it's not boring. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's not boring, and also they kind of the big thing that I was laughing at in the original was the communication thing that they had going on. This one, they obviously have some type of communicators, because it doesn't make sense how they all can talk to other people, but at least they have, because it cuts in and out and they can only hear each other at certain times, because like these walkie-talkie type microphone things, only like if there's too much distance between them, it starts to cut up because they're in these caves. But they don't really ever acknowledge it or why they work.
Yeah, but at least there's they're like, well, hey, we have some sort of device.
Yeah, because
47.
Yeah,
because when they
47 meters down, it's like,
because they started talking to each other. I was like, hey, it's like, this the director anybody ever been?
But that's the thing. I watched the special features for 47 meters down, and the guy was like, I'm a really passionate scuba diver. I love it, and he's like, says how much he loves scuba diving, and I'm like, have you really?
Yeah, it was really? Like, because this realize, like, if you're underwater,
sense.
You can't hear shit. Like, but you can. But they kind of fixed that a little bit with this one. But yeah, but other than that,
I like the first one for what it is.
Yeah, the first one's garbage. But this one, it keeps up the momentum. It's exciting. It's not boring. There's plenty of little jump scares, and it just works all around. It's a fun little movie. So I was really happy about that.
Awesome.
So maybe I'm also going based off the fact that I hated the first one so much that this one was kind of a relief. But I still think it's a solid little shark movie. So yeah, that's it.
I saw Ghost Shark recently, and I would not recommend it.
Oh, really? Damn.
Really?
Oh my God.
Is that your review?
Yeah. That's kind of a throwaway.
Yeah.
That's a bonus.
Yeah, Ghost Shark is. I think I saw that like on Sci-Fi or something, and it's just not good.
Is a ghost of a shark haunting? Could be a ghost shark. Yeah,
the shark wants revenge, but technically it makes more sense in that Jaws sequel, because a ghost shark could get into like a pool, let's say, which it does.
Oh. And it turns real and can actually kill.
Yeah, it looks like a ghost, but yeah, it's still chomping people on the house.
Yeah, I think there's also a scene where the shark comes out of somebody's body.
Yeah. It's like the worst mermaid you've ever seen.
Yeah, so it's basically like it's about a group of people that kill a great white shark, and the shark comes back for vengeance, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the plot. Yeah, but the shark comes out of somebody and splits them in two. That's the one big effect I remember.
I need to call my medicine delivery man and stock up on some things and really give this thing a shot. I think you're making me want to watch.
Yeah, because I got on a Mill Creek DVD set that came out recently. So it's like a ton of shark movies just like that.
Oh,
And
I know what
what-
you're talking. That has. You need to watch Santa Jaws.
Sure. Yeah, that's on there.
Jaws.
So I'm
Yes.
saving that for the holidays.
Yeah, Santa Jaws
I am.
is probably the best.
Perfect. Wow. All right, Stephanie, what's your real pick?
That was my
That was
real
her real
pick.
pick.
Was it? Oh shit. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Yeah, those gigantic shark.
You got to make it a quick
sets.
one, like we did.
Okay. All right. Here's one I can talk about really quick. Let's talk about Brightburn, which is basically evil Superboy, evil Superman, evil kid Superman movie. But then that's the plot. Like take like the first 20 minutes of Man of Steel or like the first Superman movie with Christopher Reeve, and like, oh, he's bad, and he kills people and all of a sudden wants to just kill everyone. And it's a horror movie, and I like it. I like it a lot, but I think it has. I think it has problems because, like, as a horror movie, a simple kind of low budget horror movie, I think it works. But the problem was I saw the Amazon series The Boys, and they deal with like evil Superman and evil superheroes like with so much more nuance, and you get it, and you're like, it's better done. And in this one, like, he just kind of turns on a dime, and oh, the spaceship is evil, and it just flips his switch, and now he just wants to kill everybody. And there's like, they don't do a good enough job kind of showing, because you can plot wise and character development wise like show how he's kind of being pushed against humanity. And I don't think they do that well enough for you to really buy into the fact that, oh, all of a sudden he just wants to murder his parents, or, you know, his adopted parents or whatever. It just doesn't, that connective tissue didn't happen for me. But, you know, there's some really good gore gags in it. There's one involving glass in an eye, and there's one involving a post-car crash, which was just incredibly done. I don't want to give it away for anyone who hasn't seen it, but it involves, you know, body part just dangling, and it's just like the camera lingers, and the sound design, fantastic. So there's a couple like things going for it, but I think as a whole, like, I didn't hate it. Like, I really liked it, but I think it was just missing a few key elements, I think, that would have made it a solid, you know, kind of horror, superhero horror movie for me. But interested on your guys' thoughts.
It's fine. It exists.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really have the big disconnect with like you did maybe with the kid, because obviously he was put there for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's just his time to awaken, and he realizes quickly that that's his purpose. So that's the way I kind of looked at it.
Okay.
I just found it a little boring as an origin story. Like, I did like the gags and everything like that, but I also didn't like anybody in the movie. I didn't like him. I didn't like, you know, Pam's husband or ex-boyfriend, Roy. That was an office joke. Elizabeth Banks was just like, she was very sweet and obviously like a fun, loving mother, but she just also fell a little flat in the movie for me, and she's typically like really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was just overall just kind of boring, and I'm glad it exists, because if they end up doing something else, that could be really fun. As far as like an evil supervillain. But yeah, it just kind of exists. It's there. I'll forget about it in probably about a year. So.
That's the most mild take I've heard on it, because people seem pretty split about how they feel about it.
I'm glad it exists.
Yeah, I'll allow people. They had a job for a few months. Thanks, movie. Good looking out. I haven't seen it. I need to get better at watching new movies. Though I might.
No, you don't.
I don't know. Well, can that be my thing? I'm like the old man. I'm like, oh, I watched him. Let's talk about John Wayne.
I've been watching way too
much. This year has been amazing for new movies, though. Definitely.
That's true.
better than our previous years. So I made that joke, but I
That's
mean,
why I feel bad. Yeah.
well, there's
So
just too much these days. There's just too much. But
oh my
honestly,
God,
I think
yeah.
if you took Gunn's name out of that movie, you probably wouldn't have Die Hard people, because I think that came at
Yeah.
a time when he was going to announce that, like at San Diego Comic-Con, and all that stuff came out, with the old tweets, and
Yes,
Guardians
so
of the
bad.
Galaxy 3 was pulled from him. So I think it was at a time where we really wanted to support James Gunn, which rightfully
Yeah.
so, which is
That's a
fine.
great point.
And I'm that way too. I love James Gunn. I've always really liked his work, and I'm glad he had this little side project with his brothers that he made, that I guess he produced. They co-wrote and directed. But yeah, it was just something I think people were overly supportive, which is fine, and nothing against the movie, nothing against anybody doing it. But I think that's also why it kind of blew up bigger, because I think this just would have been under everybody's radar for the most part if it was no names.
I think you're right, because the plot doesn't sound that interesting to me. I think because I've read it in a lot of comic books before, but because I do really like James Gunn from like way back in the day, that's why I'm gonna see it. When it's streaming. I haven't gotten to it yet, but have either of you started watching The Boys? I think Sean.
I mentioned that. Yeah, I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it,
love it.
Love that. Can't wait. I can't wait for, like, I don't know. I thought season 2 had already started, and I was like anxiously,
It just came out.
This season 2 hasn't come out yet.
No,
the
first season came out like 2 weeks ago.
I burned through it so quickly. It's so good. Like, it's so good.
I'll tell you what happens.
I'm enthusiastic about it. Well, I know it's based off a comic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so
I haven't
good.
watched the show, but I've always been a big fan of the comic.
I
heard it stays pretty true to the comic as well.
Yeah. No, I think everyone should watch it. And especially if you like superhero movies and stuff like that. Like,
if you hate
watch
superhero
it, I think
movies, it's fun.
That too. No, I think it does a really good job of skewering superhero movies, and especially the Marvel universe, for sure. Like, it's funny because it's definitely based off of, like, feels like it's based off of like the DC universe, but it's skewering kind of the Marvel, how Marvel's everywhere now. And it's like, well, what if these heroes were real, and we had movies about them in a real cinematic universe, and it's a real universe too. And I love what they do with who's the superhero, the Superman kind of guy. What's his name? Captain. I don't know. He's like a cross between Superman and Captain America. I forget his name.
Are you talking about the superheroes themselves?
Yeah, like, that's like the dark Superman. I'm like, that I love. I'm like, that's great. And that's the thing about Brightburn, is like, Brightburn was just, what if Superman was like, evil as a kid, and that's the whole setup.
Yeah,
like, there's so much more going on.
Homelander is the
Homelander. Yeah.
I can never remember their names from the comic. But anyways, I watched a Netflix movie called The Package. It's produced by Ben Stiller. It was funny because I never heard of this movie at all. Yeah, I'm not a big Netflix person. I hardly ever use Netflix, so I don't really see a lot of the new stuff that pops up. But when somebody says, "Hey, watch this," I do. But I will say, 9 out of 10 times when Netflix has acquired something, I really, really dislike it. I really hate Netflix's idea of acquiring things. I think,
well, they just buy up way too much and dump it all out with it's too much.
Is the movies that are really good that never get, like, up there, like The Night Comes for Us, Wheelman, Six Balloons, like, that stuff you never fucking hear. Like, no one ever fucking talks about Wheelman and Six Balloons, but it was literally like 2 of their best movies out there. But everybody goes ape shit over something like super shitty, like The Perfection, but Anyway, I really hated The
I haven't seen
Perfection,
it.
by the way. Everybody fucking loved that thing. I fucking hate that movie. So anyways, so the person that told me about the package was this, nice lady I work with who's very PC. She tells me this. She goes, "Hey, have you seen this movie called The Package?" I was like, "I've never even heard of it. What is it?" And she starts laughing. She goes, "It's super inappropriate." And I was like, "Okay, well, inappropriate to her is like saying the word poop." So she goes on to tell me about how these kids get together, they go on a trip, and one is taking a piss, and he starts to play with his butterfly knife, and he accidentally chops off his penis.
Oh my god.
So
Tales old time.
they, call 911. They have him airlifted. They put his penis on ice, and they put it in a cooler to give to the paramedics to go to the hospital, reattach the penis. But they accidentally give them the cooler of beer rather than the cooler with the penis. So the whole movie is them trying to get to the hospital from the wilderness.
Oh my god.
To get their friend's penis back to him. And it is really fucking funny. Like, it has this 90s vibe of humor, but it also feels a little fresh and new. It has the one girl from Blockers, who's John Cena's daughter, and she's fucking funny as shit, man. She's so good. But yeah, she's in it, and then a few other people that I've never even seen before. But I mean, it's just so many little goofy gags in it with the penis idea that is just fucking funny. Like, I gotta say, what sold me on it, and this is what I'm gonna sell you on it, is that, so hearing this lady tell me this at work, who is very, like I said, PC, very, won't say like shit, damn, fuck, anything like that. She's telling me this scene, like a lot of people, when they tell you about a movie, they just spoil everything. And she kind of did that, but also she didn't at the same time. Like, she left out, there's so many funny things that happen in the movie. She can only tell me so much, but she told me about this one scene where they find this boat, and this little boy is fishing with his dad, and the dad is not around. And they go up to him, and they're like, "Hey, we need the keys to the boat." And he's like, "Fuck you guys. I'm not giving you keys to our boat." And he's like this, like, 12-year-old little kid. And they pull out the dick, and they, like, flip it in front of his face. And they're like, "Do you see this? We have to get our friend's dick back to him." And he's like, "What are you doing?" And then finally they had it, and the guy goes, "Hey." And also there's a part where a snake bites the fake penis, or the cut off penis, and they have to suck out the venom. But there's a part in the film, he's like, "Why is the dick like that?" And he says, "You know what? I sucked this dick today. And we suck dicks and we cut dicks." That's what he says. And I laughed so fucking hard. That sold me. And I watched the movie, and it's really fucking funny. So watch it. It's on Netflix, and it's a really, really funny little comedy. And it's not really gross either. I know that the whole thing is based around a penis, but it's not a gross movie either. Like, everything is done tastefully, and it's not like dick and fart jokes type gross out comedy. It's like, even with the Venom thing, it's really well done, and it's really, really fucking funny. So definitely watch The Package. I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm pretty much, I dislike a lot of comedy movies because I think they try too hard. Even with something like this that's so generic sounding, it's really fresh and well done. So
Well, that's the problem, I think, with like Netflix and things like that, and all the streaming things. It's like there's so much out there, and I never know anymore. And then how they changed the rating system.
yeah.
So like, I never see things I normally would find. I can't browse through Netflix anymore. Like, it's all
They only
their
have like
stuff.
30 movies available at all times, it seems.
Yeah, and like, I can never find anything. Even like the one you're talking about, The Perfection. Like, I remember hearing about it, and then it never pops up. I don't see it. It's just
yeah. But honestly,
I don't know
it's
what's
the
going
ones
on
that you
with
never
that.
hear of. Like I really enjoyed
Yeah.
the silence, with the killer bat things,
Yeah, the quiet place ripoff movie.
Well, to be honest,
Actually, it came first. Yeah,
yeah,
it
the
was actually
silence,
a book first, and
came
actually
first.
the
So
Silence book. Whoever wrote the Quiet Place could possibly have ripped off the
yeah,
Silence book.
there
too,
you go, there you go.
But
But you should watch The Wheelman. Have you seen The Wheelman with Frank Grillo?
I have not. I think it's on my. I think I added it to my list of things to watch. But the only things that show up are like Stranger Things, Bird Box. Like Bird Box always shows up.
I haven't seen.
I started watching Bird Box. I don't know. It just seems like she just seems like a very unsafe mother.
Well, I want to see that I Am Mother movie too, or whatever.
I do like the fact that they give the premise and then there's the backflash or the back
flashback.
They go back.
Wow.
Flashback. They go back and they show how everything happened. Like I do appreciate that. I'll probably finish it. I'm actually liking what I've seen so far, but I fell asleep.
Since we're on talking about comedies, I wanted to go see Good Boys as well. And Good Boys is really fucking good.
Is it?
It's literally it's probably the funniest movie I think I've seen in a long, long, long time.
It looks really funny.
And it's not gross either. It's not a gross movie. It's just very funny. It's very smart. It does the same thing like The Package, where it's a generic idea, but it's well done. And it also has this really funny thing. It's by the guys that wrote The Office, a lot of the episodes of The Office. But it has this, and no one's really talking about it because I think that a lot of people didn't. Honestly, I don't think a lot of people that we follow and stuff like that on Twitter went to go see it. But there's this really funny and cool idea about consent with the film, like how the boys are incredibly respectful to girls at the same time that they're trying to get ready for this kissing party. It's really fucking funny and really good. So it's actually, if you're gonna, these parents are raising their boys properly. I thought was kind of cool, as well as them getting ready for a kissing party and trying to spy on neighbors, so they know how to do it. But it's really like I don't think I've seen a movie other than maybe something I like Clown quite a bit, the movie from Denmark, and the guys did a movie called Dan Dream. Like those movies had me laughing pretty much nonstop the whole entire time. And Good Boys is one of those things where it was just never, like, my stomach was hurting.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it's really fucking funny.
Whose turn are we on? Are we on
Steph? Yeah.
Thanks for sounding so excited about it, Sean.
I am.
Okay.
You sound like it.
So I'll take it. I'll keep running with the Netflix movie thing. And there's one I think they did a little bit better job of letting people know it came out, and that's Point Blank, which is by Joe Lynch. And it also stars Frank Grillo, and it has Anthony Mackie and Marcia Gay Harden.
That movie already came out? Jesus, Netflix is so bad at promoting shit.
Okay, there's some dissent. Well, I think it's just because I follow Joe Lynch on Twitter, so I saw it a lot. But
so that's what you got to do.
I'm watching that today. Thanks, Steph. I'm watching that today. Like,
yeah.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, of course.
So, Joe Lynch is one of my favorite people ever. But I don't like any of his movies. Like, I love him as a person, and I think he's great. And like, the only really thing I love that Joe Lynch has done is Wrong Turn 2 and the Holliston TV show. I think Holliston is one of the funniest fucking things to ever exist. And he did a great job. He's great acting in it with Adam Green, and like it's a perfect show for the horror community. But no, I don't think not enough people talk about it, or they just dismiss it because they're like, oh, like they wrote and started this TV show themselves, and it's set up like a slapstick, live, whatever those live TV shows are called. I can't remember.
Sitcom?
Yeah, sitcom. Thank you. Wow, that was really bad. But they do it perfectly. And every time Joe Lynch has a movie coming out, I'm like, yes, this is so what I expect from Joe Lynch. And like Everly and fucking Mayhem, I'm just not into at all. Knights of Badass. I know that he didn't like the final version of that movie coming out, but because the producers fucked with it too much. But I'm really excited about Point Blank. Really excited about Point Blank. So go ahead.
Oh wow. Okay, no pressure. So yeah, it's a remake of a French movie, and it's kind of a classic high concept action setup, where a guy who's tied in with gangsters ends up in a hospital. He was supposed to die, but he didn't, and he ropes in this guy working at the ER who's played by Anthony Mackie. He's a nurse. And he kind of uses them to get out of there, but he gets roped into this whole adventure. It's like a reluctant buddy situation.
Know this movie. Yeah, I remember the he takes the henchman like steal his wife, and then
his very pregnant wife.
Yeah,
very.
And go after the boss, right? Like the big boss guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I've seen the French. Yeah, I didn't know it was a remake. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so it's that basic premise, but it's really well done. The action scenes are great. Marcia Gay Harden, I love her in everything, but she's great. Just wicked as hell in this. And Grillo and Mackie, they have a great chemistry. It's not like the greatest chemistry on screen of all time, but they both have different energies that still vibe with each other really well. And there's just enough comedy where it doesn't seem forced or goofy, but just very natural. Kind of when you're in like a shitty, stressful situation, you'd kind of tell like a dark joke to each other. So yeah, it's solid. It's not amazing, but solid. It's definitely worth your time. I liked Mayhem okay, but I did like this one more than Mayhem. So yeah, it's if you're just in the mood for like a well-made, solid action movie with a really great cast, I would definitely check out Point Blank. Now on Netflix. No matter what the producers tell you or don't tell you, it is on Netflix right now.
Yeah, they're so terrible. Like it's and that's the thing. It's like the movies they don't talk about are the ones that I like, or the ones that they don't promote. But yeah, they have this weird algorithm, and honestly, like I imagine the filmmakers are making a lot of money, so more power to them. But I hate this only on Netflix type thing, and then just not enough people know about it or see it. Like, it's very aggravating.
Yeah.
No, so, we're in a weird Wild West time.
Yeah, it's like even The Night Comes for Us. Literally, The Night Comes for Us is probably the best action movie in the past like 10 years, and just it completely went under a lot of people's radar unless you were at a festival. Have either of you seen The Night Comes for Us?
No, it's on I've marked it to watch.
All right.
Yeah, same
here. If I watch Point Blank today, you have to watch The Night Comes for Us today.
Okay.
And then text me after you're done, because it will fucking melt your fucking face. It's an incredible, like it's better than The Raid for me. And that's saying a lot. Yeah.
That's a tall order.
I don't remember. Did you guys like The Ritual?
Yeah, I thought The Ritual was fine.
I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it. I've seen it twice already, and that's another one that kind of.
That's so good.
Yeah, I think that one got
quietly on
well known kind of in the horror community a bit, but Jazz, stop eating the bone.
Yeah, which was great.
So hey, Sean. Was that you?
Is it my turn or is it Brad's turn now?
It's your turn.
It's my turn again?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna have to wrap up after this.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Dad.
Let's see. It's Saturday morning. Things are about to the house is gonna start stirring and it's just gonna all turn to shit.
Sunday morning.
Sunday.
I know, but
Weekend, so
I wish it was
Dude,
that
this
way.
could be
3
my
kids.
last episode ever. You do realize that, right?
We got Brad has a hurricane directly on the way to him, but I thought it turned towards North Carolina.
Yeah, this morning it became a Category 5 and it's
Yeah, I saw the photo. I was like, oh god.
Yeah,
fuck you, Dorian. Hey, Dorian, fuck off.
It's gonna go over Orlando, so it's definitely gonna.
All right. Well,
yeah.
I think you're gonna be okay. But
well, I'll definitely survive. But like last time a hurricane hit, we were without power for a few days, and it was pretty bad around town.
Well, stock up. Are you stocked up? Do you have your stuff all ready to go?
Yeah, plenty of movies.
Food is
number one. Plenty of movies.
Yeah, no, we got snacks. We got some water. Like we're further inland to where it does do a lot of damage still. So don't get me wrong. Like like in our neighborhood, we where we were living when the last big one hit, like there was a tree that went right through somebody's living room, like completely demolished the house. Like the house was no longer livable at all. So that was like right down the street for me. So like it does do a lot of damage, but we're so far inland that the damage is minimal to that extent. Like you have to understand when I say minimal, like houses are still destroyed, people do die, but it's not like anything like on the coast. So
just comparatively. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's like people. I know you have earthquakes, but hurricanes like this one definitely. If it does go over Florida, it's no joke. Like it's bad. It's gonna be people will die. It's bad.
All right. So I will
make someone happy. Yeah. Let's talk about Geostorm.
Well.
Any more kissing party movies? Go for it.
No. So I wanted to talk a little bit about John Wick Chapter 3. Because that's I think it's the last movie I actually watched. And I was actually kind of disappointed by it, which is weird because I'm usually pulling for a movie and I'm usually trying to keep things positive.
Come on.
I liked it as an action movie, but I feel like it didn't deliver on the setup of John Wick 2, where John Wick all of a sudden has all the assassins after him. And it starts out that way and it's great, but it almost becomes too video like the movie was fun, but I would rather play the video game. You know what I mean? It's just it almost starts off with too much going on and he's completely indestructible. The timeline in this film is I know, but the timeline in this film is what, a week to 2 weeks has only gone by. If even that,
like a week.
I don't even.
Yeah, it's just a few days. Yeah.
So it's he's falling out of buildings, getting shot multiple times. It's just. But I don't know. And then one of the things I've really liked about the John Wick movies is they've kept things pretty much practical. There's a CG action scene in this that completely took me out of the movie. That was just too perfect and too I don't know, a fast-moving action scene on a highway with motorcycles. You can always tell when the CG happens, and it's just for a movie that has a series that has been trying to keep things practical stunts, practical effects. To have that, it's I don't know, but I didn't really like that they did that, but as a whole, I feel it kind of flounders. I don't feel like the plot's been moved on any forward. I feel we've learned a little more about the politics involved with this hitman organization. But it kind of stalls after all the crazy action, and then it kind of goes back. And I don't feel like anything's really resolved. They kind of lead things to set up for another one. And at this point, I'm it's almost it's almost too much.
All right.
I don't know where we can go from here. But I don't know if you guys have seen John Wick 3 or not. But
to quote the awful President Trump.
Oh God.
Wrong.
I
could be wrong.
shut up.
So John Wick 3, I think is really, really, really fucking fun. I do like the second one the most, than the first one, than the third one. So I will say that it's my least favorite of the three, but
I still liked it.
it still holds up really well. I will say the only part that I would take out Halle Berry and the Morocco action sequence, because it felt like they were on set of a Universal Studios backlot during that Morocco dog fight scene. The dogs are great, all that stuff was fun, but it looks really cheap.
Yeah.
And Halle Berry is really awful in the movie. Like
she is very miscast, I think.
Yeah, I don't know why, like, of all the people, like she's not a great actress to me. Like she's good in, like, she's good at Monsters Ball, but like a lot of stuff that Halle Berry's in, like, she's not charismatic. She's not, like, she just doesn't have that.
She's really good in The Call.
Oh, that's movie's
she's
good
the
too.
911
yeah,
operator.
that movie's good too. Yeah. But she doesn't have that charisma like a lot of the actors do in John Wick. Like with Willem Dafoe, Larry Fishburne,
Ian McShane, chewing glass, man. That guy is just,
like,
I love Ian McShane.
People, like, even the villains are really, really likable, and Halle Berry just doesn't fit the mold of what this universe of John Wick has created. But I still think it holds up. I rewatched it myself. I think it hits really, really hard. I think the action sequences are really well done. But I did feel that the action sequences were, because I feel like John Wick 2 was like Michael Mann on cocaine.
Yeah, I love John Wick 2. Love it.
And the first one was so fresh and new to us that even with a generic story, again, you have these likable characters, these awesome relationships. You have the attachment with a dog, even though we laugh at it, it was like, man, that really fucking, that works. But I still think it's a great action movie. I don't really see any problems with it, other than the Halle Berry thing, to be honest with you. I think she just falls too flat.
I think that's just for me, just falls a little flat. But there's one moment I did love. It's when him and this other hitman who's been his nemesis are sitting on the couch.
Oh yeah, no, it's
in
great.
A safe zone, and he's like,
"I'm sorry, Sean.
I'm a big
you mean
fan.
Mark Dacascos? Like, I mean,
Mark Dacascos.
You say like
Mark Dacascos.
Okay.
I don't have the names in my head. I'm not like you, Brad. I'm not like a walking encyclopedia. But yeah, Mark Dacascos.
But you should know who Mark Dacascos is, Sean.
I know Mark Dacascos. I know.
Okay,
I'm good with faces, not names.
I'm just saying, Brad. He's like literally one of the best martial artists in the world. So just saying.
He's great. But what I love is like all of a sudden he's this big fan, and they're in this.
Oh no, it's perfect. It's really
neutral zone.
So good,
and it's just wonderful scene. No, I like it, and I think I'd want to see these, like, rewatch them as in succession. But like I said, I still liked it. I feel like compared to John Wick 2 and even John Wick, it is a step down. But that happens with once movies go into 3 and 4. I'll be interested to see like how they resolve these things in 4. But I feel like things are stretched to get to another movie is how I felt. But as an action movie, man, you're not going to see any better action in like a Hollywood type film. Like it's awesome. So there is some awesome action stuff in it. So Steph, have you seen John Wick 3? Or no?
Yeah, I loved it.
You loved it.
I think you're one of the most negative reviews I've heard about it, and you liked it. So
like I think in comparison I was a little let down. But it, like I said, sometimes things like this, the rewatch is a lot better. Maybe my expectations were a little too high. Who knows? I don't know. But cool. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap up this episode. Next episode, Mike should be on his first inaugural episode, and I think we need to try to do some sort of, we need to rein it in, because all of us doing What's on Our Doorstep is gonna last, it's gonna be like a 5-hour episode. So so we'll figure something out. We'll hone it in. We'll chisel it in. Chisel it down.
We'll see.
Ding, 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 ding. But what's everyone? We all got to do a little bit of plugs. Of course, I got to do a little a plug because I've been doing the audiobooks. Brad hates when I talk about them. But my most recent release is a book by Isaac Thorne, and he follows us. He listens to the show, and I would be remiss not to mention it because I really like. As far as the book goes, The Gordon Place is an awesome book, awesome novel to read. A cool little kind of twist on a haunted house type story, and so definitely like me being able to narrate it, I was like honored to narrate it. I think I did an okay job. Some people, I don't know, but it's out and it's actually doing really well. I'm really happy with it, and so check it out if you haven't. At least read the book. If you don't want to hear my voice, fine. At least buy the book or whatever. Get on your Kindle. I guess you can do like free. I don't know, but read the book. It's really good, and that's all I got to promote. Follow me on Twitter, Sean C. DeRager.
Wow, that's really good.
Stephanie?
You just want to promote the audiobook. I don't have anything. Well, I will say
you write for things. Come on.
Yeah, nobody cares about that.
And you're and you and good old Brian Sauer do a lot of podcasting. You do a lot of podcasting. Promote your shit. Come on.
Both Brad and I will be at Fantastic Fest. He's like a big time Hollywood guy. He'll be wheeling and dealing. But I will be updating the Screamcast website with reviews and everything. So keep an eye out for that. And if this will come out before then, I'm guessing. Sean?
Yeah, it's just
hustle it on out.
No editing needed in this one.
So if you listen to this and it's before Fantastic Fest, if there's any specific movies you'd especially like to read a review for, let me know. And I'll do my best to get
all of them.
Very nice.
Yeah, I don't need to sleep or function. It's cool. Yeah.
How many movies you plan on seeing?
As many as possible. I think I did pretty well at South by, and that was my first one ever.
How many did you
now
see?
I'm seasoned. Now I'm a veteran. I don't know how to count.
I think the most you can do at Fantastic Fest with press is like 45.
Done.
Oh.
Done.
Wow, without hesitation. I think average people do like 25. But all right. I got
well, come on, you do whatever. What the hell ever. You're all over Twitter promoting Vinegar Syndrome. You're all over promoting what's that other company that does like all these crappy Walmart movies? What's that company?
Wow. Thanks.
You got stuff to promote. Come on, promote your shit. Self-promotion.
Crappy Walmart movies.
I feel like this is gonna be the last episode for a different reason.
Hey,
come
Sean,
on. I give Wild Eye shit. I'm just kidding.
How many
come on.
movies have you seen?
Dude, Velocipaster is the shit.
Have you seen it?
What? No, but I like the idea of it. I'll probably watch it.
I was just saying, don't promote something if you haven't seen. I'll see you at Fantastic Fest. That's about it.
All right, cool. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to all of you next time. Go to thescreamcast.com for past episodes. Find us on Twitter, scream_cast, and we'll be putting stuff out more regularly. Club Scum members, we got to give them a shout out. Thanks all of you who have hung on. I know you're all barely hanging on, and but you guys actually helped get, I think I mentioned this before, get Stephanie a new microphone, which was, she got Stephanie a new microphone, and we were able to get good old Mike Delaney a microphone to use. So thank you guys for helping keep the show going as far as that goes. And we're going to be, we're not going away anytime soon. I know this year's been a bit stagnant, but
it's a big transitionary year for most of us.
It is. We're doing a lot, but I don't ever want to let this thing go. So I'm going to keep grasping onto the Screamcast with my cold dead hands. All right. With that awful, stupid joke, I'll talk to all of you guys next week. Bye.
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 Oh, don't tell me you're leaving. The party's just begun.